Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another vlog video of my Montreal vacation, August 2025. And today I'm back in Old Montreal on another bright early morning. And here I'm approaching the old port and sitting down at the picnic table under the shade. I'm ready to sketch this market building. So this is the Bonsecours building in Old Montreal. And I really love the dome with the tower structure. And a lot of buildings, they actually look better surrounded by foliage. So I'm actually including quite a bit of foliage. And also a couple walking past by here in the foreground. And yes, this building is pretty easy to tackle. And now I'm painting the bright blue sky using mostly cerulean blue and blending in a little bit of spring green for a really refreshing look for the sky. And painting the many shades of greens on the trees here in the foreground. So the darkest shade on trees are usually most concentrated on the lower 30% of the canopy. And using blue-violet kind of grays to shade the market building. The windows are reflecting the blue sky. Now the first layer of the foliage is all dried. Now I'm adding this intense shade of green, which is hooker's green mixed with a bit of burnt sienna to intensify the shade, starting with like a mid-tone, and then the most intense shade, not more than 30% of the whole tree's canopy, using very careful little stippling marks. And then shading this little hut here in the foreground with leftover blue-violet. And this sketch took me about 30 minutes to draw and paint. And yeah, now looking around, I really want to sketch this Ferris wheel. And from my intuition, I believe this Ferris wheel would look better surrounded by these apple tree leaves and also someone walking towards it. Now I'm using my short-term memory to draw this lady walking her little dog. Yeah, so this is a super spontaneous sketch of a girl, walking with her dog, done from short-term memory, completed in like 2 minutes. So the design of any urban sketch is very important. So you really have to consider the amount of foliage around the building and also including at least one person. So if you're just drawing a building with nothing around it, that urban sketch may not look interesting. When you're designing your urban sketch, also think about the layers of objects. As you can see, these leaves of an apple tree is in layer 1. The lady with the dog is in layer 2. The railings are in layer 3. And the Ferris wheel is actually in layer 5. Layer 4 is this cluster of foliage. So most of the time, you don't have to practice very complicated perspective rules like 1 point or 2 point or even 3 point perspectives. You can stick to this simple rule of having multiple layers of objects overlapping with one another to make your urban sketch really interesting. Now I'm adding the fun details, these little cars on the Ferris wheel. These are just like little cubes seen from different heights and angles. These ones on top, we can see the 3 sides of the cubes. And these ones on the sides of the circle, we can see like just 2 sides of each cube. And now I'm drawing the axles for the Ferris wheel, which is a very important structure, keeping the circle in good balance, keep it spinning, keep it safe. And these supporting wires, yeah, around the middle of the wheel, making the structure really safe and sturdy. Now I'm painting the sky using the same color scheme as the left side. Starting to paint the foliage with diluted yellow ochre, and then spring green wet into wet with a yellow ochre. and some hooker screen for the lower half of these trees. And just let these three colors blend together freely without mixing too much. Same idea for these apple leaves. And using very diluted leftover blue-green to paint the first layer of the water. And now using very concentrated hooker's green mixed with burnt sienna to shade like the lower 40% of these trees. And every brush mark is a definition of a cluster of many leaves. Using blue violet to paint the shadow on the walkway. And using blue violet to suggest shadows or reflections in the water. And painting the lady's shirt. I remember she was really wearing a blue shirt that is matching with a blue sky. Shading these trees a little bit more to intensify the contrast. And I'm using blue violet here to shade the trees. Here is me, with my finished sketches with these landmarks of Old Montreal. And these souvenir tea boxes are so beautiful. I'm buying one, So the Notre Dame Basilica is still under renovation, and I think it will still take a while. And in the evening, me and my parents are taking the bus to the La Salle area, and there's a little cat. I think she's a girl. There are a lot more outdoor cats here in Montreal compared to Vancouver. And here we are at Parc des Rapids, looking at the rushing water of St.Lawrence River. Using these bold pen strokes to show the movement of the water. A little flatter lines for water repose in the far distance. And now painting the early evening view using yellow and orange tones, and then blending in this bright cerulean blue. And using different shades of blues and turquoise to paint the water. Using very expressive brush marks to show the movement of the water, which is very rapid. And using the white Posca marker to add some small highlights, especially in the foreground. Here's a look of my finished quick 30-minute sketch. And evening time here at this park is really beautiful with lots of lush greens, combining with the warm tones of the sunset colors. Now I'm creating another 30-minute sketch to capture the sunset atmosphere. These trees and bushes are glowing in golden yellow-green. And here's my quick 15-minute no pressure drawing and another 15 minutes painting watercolors very loosely. And the next day I'm visiting Cafe Chateau again. It's only about 15 minutes walk from our Airbnb. And these kittens are super adorable. Now these two are fighting. This one here, he looks a lot like Dudu when he was a kitten. And now sitting down, this little tappy cat is walking on my table and surveying everything, stepping on my sketchbook. So these kitties here, they are free to roam around. We just have to stay safe with our hot food and drinks. So I ordered a cup of vanilla latte and a breakfast croissant sandwich. As usual, I'm sketching my food and drink. And I love the plate holding the croissant sandwich. Starting with the light tones of yellow ochre. And then yellow orange for the next layer of the latte. Orange brown for the croissant. And then a darker brown on the croissant to add an even higher sense of depth and volume as well. And using a purplish gray to shade the white cup. Using at least 2 levels of grays to make a white or gray surface to look really interesting. And it's very quiet right now at 9 in the morning when they just opened. And yeah, these kitties, they are performing their climbing skills. And now is a great chance to draw the cat tree with a few cats on it. And now I'm capturing this walking one. And these yarns wrapping around the branches. This one is coming down now. And then drawing the other things, especially the ceiling and the two walls behind the cat tree. And this one's going through the little door here on top of the bookshelf. And he's coming back. Now, giving the interior a warm bath of diluted yellow ochre mixed with lemon yellow to show the cozy atmosphere. Lemon yellow around the light bulbs. And yeah, so this cat tree here, as you can see, is made of a real tree without bark. And it's nice to have these scratching areas. And there's also a blackboard for the kids to doodle with chalk. There's also a platform close to the ceiling for the cats to walk on, adding some grayish shade around the ceiling. And in the evening, me and my parents are strolling around the neighborhood after dinner, and I really want to sketch the streetscape of Wellington and capturing the church from a distance, and also these lovely letters. And yeah, so there will be a more detailed tutorial on how I sketch this little view of Wellington streetscape. So it's getting dark pretty soon, and I'm just speeding up but not rushing, and getting the sunset glow in the sky using peachy colors of yellow, orange, and red, and the pale blue in between. And then the warm orange, orange-brown, and using purple to shade brown things. And playing with 2 to 3 tints and shades of greens as before. And this sketch is a really nice memory of our time living in the neighborhood of Wellington, in the area of Verdun in Montreal. Here's a look of my finished sketch, and I finished it before dark. And the next day is Monday. We're very fortunate to have many sunny days on our vacation in Montreal, and this morning I'm visiting the Old Montreal again. So I've been here a few times already, and I love their pastries, especially the fruit Danish. And their coffee is actually pretty good as well. So I got a pear Danish this morning with a cup of latte. And then we're heading out to McGill University. And they have a nice natural history museum, which is this one here named Redpath Museum. And today, I think it's free admission day today, or maybe it's free all the time. So if you know my Mongjo 24 watercolor palette, there's a color called malachite green. And that green is extracted from that mineral. And there are a lot of animal fossils, skeletons, and there are 3 levels in this museum. Now we're heading to the second level with beautiful seashells in this shelf, corals, and I think this is the centerpiece of this museum, the skeleton of a dinosaur called Gorgosaurus libertus, which is very similar to a T-Rex, but much smaller, and of course a Triceratops skull, and other wild animal specimens here, like cougars, wolves, polar bear, a lion, and antelopes, likely from Africa, likely a leopard here, more antelopes. And this is from the 3rd floor of the museum looking down. And on this floor, there are some artifacts from early human history. Now, back to the ground level. Before we go, I decided to sketch this iconic view of the museum. And drawing the skeleton of the dinosaur is really fun, adding some people to show the proportion of the dinosaur in comparison to humans, and then simplifying the balcony areas. Here's my line drawing, which took me about 20 minutes to draw. And I just painted the blue sky outside the windows and the warm, cozy yellow and the darker brown of the dinosaur skeleton, and using blue violet to shade some of the interior areas, not overshading. Here's the look of my finished sketch. It took me about half an hour or so to draw and paint, just to capture the essence. And after that, my parents went back to the Airbnb, and I want to wander a bit more in downtown because I want to finish my sketching goal for today. And now I'm sitting down outside the Museum of Fine Arts, very close to Concordia University, to capture the view of Mount Royal and these heritage buildings on both sides, opening up the view of Mount Royal. And it's a wonderful day, sunny but not too hot, so great to stay a little bit longer outside. So here's the look of my finished sketch. And it's always nice to paint a sky with some clouds rather than just pure blue sky. Now I'm walking back to our Airbnb, and in the neighborhood there's this lovely cat just a few steps away from our Airbnb. Let's see, he's still peeking from the window. Now I'm walking up the winding staircase, and here he is. I think he's pretty disappointed that we can go out all the time, but not him. And another neighborhood cat, after dinner on our walk to Verdun Beach area. And so here I am sitting outside a sports center to sketch the view of the church. And the clouds were pretty thick today, so it was a challenge to capture the sunset. So I'll see you in the next tutorial video very soon, everyone. Take care and enjoy the coming of autumn.